Welcome back. We're here to talk about this Starfall Original number 8. This features, actually I think this was part of a pair. They weren't necessarily tandem pair, just ones that Nick was kind of building side by side. And so he sent the grips off to Bryan Lynn over at Civilized Weaponry Services. And so there were two different etch patterns, designs, and stuff like that. So this is number 8, which features a bunch of text. I haven't actually dove in to see what the text says, but very cool etch. The main bodies kind of resembled each other. I don't know how perfectly matched they were, but very close. They featured the Graflex red button. So on this particular saber, that is your main button. And then off to the side, I've installed this red capped soft switch. And then we've got this exposed crystal chamber. Very cool. Very bright. I've also installed a strip like I would on a Star Killer behind there, so you can do some extra cool stuff there. I've kind of limited to what I've done in the past on these. So for the most part, for most of the presets, it's off and then it turns on when the saber's on. Really cool blade plug. We got shine through on the glass eye with some brass mesh there. Very cool as well. So let's hop down to the table and we'll talk about the rest. We'll talk about the chassis, what went on with the electronics, show off a couple presets to see some of the different accent styles, and then we'll hop back out, put a blade in it, swing it around for a little bit, and call it a day. All right, so here it is, original number 8. Get a closer look at that crystal chamber. So you can sort of see in the back there, there's some more brass mesh. I put some diffusion material and then just put a strip of like 6 2020 neopixels. If we take the blade plug out, I did print off in clear PLA a little bit because the bottom was all metal and I didn't want anyone accidentally grounding out on the pogo pins. So this is my very last Shadofoil 24 pixel emitter PCB, so you can see the rings are doing independent animations in the off state. And then because, I don't know if we can see it down there, you can see the hole, we get shine through on the glass eye. And so it's pretty cool. Obviously with some extra lighting here, lighting all this stuff up, it looks a little bit washed out, but that's the reflection. Yeah, so this again will be the main, and this is the aux. This one is clicky. And this is soft. So in the off state, when you hit the aux, you will scroll through the presets. You point the hilt down, you'll go backwards. And this features one of my resin greeblie chassis. I developed about like 4 different ones for press fit designs. And then I just had this one primed and ready to go. So I painted it to match the kind of aesthetics with the kind of silver, a little bit of you know, brass and copper here and there. So on this one, we have 2 sets. So I should say a 2020 accent strip split into 2.
Hero's Journey.
Turn the brightness down here so we can see this a little bit better. It's probably getting washed out on camera, but this one's blue and this one's green. We have a Shadowfoil accent PCB, the 7 pixel one. So the middle is doing something separate in the off state. So you can see it blinking in the
Reconcile.
And then on the other side of the chassis, we have a Edison filament underneath a baffled greeblie, and you can see a bit of heat staining pigments there. Yeah, the rest of the paint job. So just like most of these, we got a 28mm KR bass speaker, spot for an 18650 battery. This is not the battery that will come. This is just one that I had charged. But in the tray, Starfall logo is clearly there. Spring side's your negative, and we got a positive terminal clearly defined right there. So but yeah, Proffie V3 configs on the SD card. And like I mentioned before, now you can see that the back side of the crystal on this particular preset is also illuminated. And it will do something different when this one's on. I'm gonna boot it up muted. So it's kind of washed out on camera, but there's like a purple underneath the crystal and then a yellow going behind. And then there's nothing on this one. This one's just off in the off state, so we can see the blue under the crystal. And again, I'll light it up with it muted. And now we can see there's purple rotating behind the crystal, but still blue on the crystal itself. So that's that, and then we turn it off. And then the same thing kind of happens here. Actually, let me turn this all the way off. So when we do turn it on, you know, all these accents will respond to blaster blocks or clashes. And lockups as well, so. So you can see I've done my Edison filament in such a way that the brightest setting is those accents. So when we're ready, we can put the grip on. It just screws on. And we'll hop out and put a blade in it. So this takes a 7/8 diameter neopixel blade. And this is my quantum blade. This is one I use, generally speaking, for most of these demos when I can. So this is set for a 36-inch blade. Obviously, if you have a different size, then you can get into edit mode and change it, but this is a repeat customer, so this should work for most of their things. So I'm doing color change on the corn horn, and it just flip-flops back and forth. So I started this up in regular mode by turning the button on, but we do have gestures. And as with all my installs, gestures will turn on battle mode. So on most of these, you can lightly tap and get a clash. And then hard taps will get into lockups. Until you pull the saber away. So we'll move on. I also put all of the voice packs on here. So if you need to get a battery level or get into the volume, they'll have guided ones. I forget who I've set for the default. I think I picked somebody brand new that I've never used. But in the individual fonts, if they're based on a character, you'll get that character. So I think this is going to be Luke.
Battery level 65%.
Sorry, this is Obi-Wan.
Ascension.
This will be Vader.
Battery level 65%.
So, and these last few have Prion. The Prion only happens when you ignite it regularly. If you twist on, you'll bypass it. So that one was just a short glitch, and now we're in a red blade. We do hold power for 2 seconds to do a force effect, which will only ignite for as long as the sound plays. So that first one was really short, and that one's a little longer. And that one's also short. And that one's a little longer. So I don't think that one has quotes, but you can get to switch between force player and quote player, pointing the hilt down for 2 seconds, and you'll just flip-flop, and then the blade won't animate in the quote player mode. But also got tracks. Point the hilt straight up for a designated track, hold button for 2 seconds. Again, to turn it off. If you're in any other position than up when the blade is off, you'll get into track player, which will be preceded by a chime. And then as you rotate the saber, you'll go alphanumerically through the track list, which are all in the common folder. And this, again, repeat customer. So a lot of the same tracks are provided, but we'll demonstrate that. A lot of these first ones are quiet. Pick a loud one. There we go. Depending on how you press and gesture, you can continue playing that track. But I just hit the main button, so it does that.
Party saber.
And we do have Party Saber, so I'll demonstrate the crystal changes with the blade. So, oops, I also hit the aux at the same time. So hopefully you can tell. The crystal is being lit from behind, so the color may not match on screen here, but you'll see the underneath light. So it's a yellow light, but you can see when it goes down, the blue is still on. So party mode, just, you know, accent switches change main blade color. There we go, there's a yellow, that'll show up. So.
Ninth sister. OSHA.
And then we have OSHA, which does the crystal bleed with the same special ability. And I'll let you see the crystal change as well. Now you can see the crystal's red. If we go the other way, it'll just do a quick change. So now we're back to blue.
Hi, Mirror.
All right. In this one, special ability 1, we'll get into Cortosis Clash. So you have about 3 seconds to clash the saber when you hear the sound effect of the special ability registering. And there you go. So gonna cut it off here. Again, this is a repeat customer, so a lot of this stuff is repetitive. And yeah, when we're ready, we can just unscrew the grip to get to our kill switch, which is just below the Proffie. So we'll hit that switch, and then all of the lights turn off. So that is Starfall Original number 8. And we'll put the blade plug back in. Again, I've got this set perfectly so you can just let it fully drop in, and I have it sitting just proud so it looks really cool from the outside. But that way the plastic doesn't cause any issues that the original metal would. So that is it to the customer, and to Nick, thanks for allowing me to install this one as well. And to anyone else out there, thanks for watching these videos, even though they're not your sabers. I'm sure you pick up a little bit of detail here and there, and maybe you get an idea for what your Proffie saber can do for you. Thanks for watching, and may the force be with you.